Hi, Dan McLaren with Explorer One here today to talk about the XT-10 trommel with William Heineman of Explorer One, the research and developer and design of the XT-10 trommel and the XT series, along also too with Connor Tucker, the project manager for Explorer One, and who is going to help us understand a little bit more how the XT-10 is more efficient as a mining separator than any other that's on the market today. In regards to the XT-10 trommel and the way that this is designed and the way it works, is that being that the Explorer One is all about the four goods, which we understand and know, which is good for humanity, good for the environment, good for the employees, and good for business. How is this so good for the environment, being that, you know, it's going to be, how does it work?
Yeah. So what the trommel is actually our separator and classifier for the material that we dredge up. We designed it with that purpose. It kind of is a piece in our larger puzzle of the Explorer One dredging, sea dredging for gold and minerals. So the way it lines up with the four goods, and especially the environment, is when we are dredging that material, we are suction dredging it instead of like scooping.
Okay.
A lot of the larger ocean mining operations, they take like basically a large backhoe and just scoop and wreck the environment on the seafloor. What we're doing is actually sucking that up, so you're only taking that free material, processing it through our trommel, and then placing it back down.
So it's more of vacuuming, if you will,
Yeah.
basically of what's already on the surface.
Yeah, basically just vacuuming up all that material, separating it, getting the good stuff out, and then putting the rest back down where it was. What we noticed is a lot of the systems out there, they have trouble with different materials. Since they're so static, they don't really, it doesn't allow you to change your flow rates and change your spin rates. Lots of different things, so it ends up having trouble. So like if you're running sand, for example, you don't really want it to just sit in there and rotate sand. You want it all to just flow out, right? Because there's nothing really good in sand. But if you're doing clay, you really have to slow down and take your time breaking that material up. And that way you actually get the good stuff out. So that's like one of the dynamic aspects of our trommel, is there is a tilt. So you can change your flow rates based on the degree of tilt. So,
along with the actual pressure that you put in there.
Yeah. There's a couple different ways that we break up the material. William could speak to that more if you'd like.
One of the differences of our trommel over other trommels is that we've taken the derocker, the wash plant, and the classifying station, crammed all three of them into one unit, and called it the XT series.
Okay.
Our centerpiece is the derocker, which is where the material all comes in to the machine at. At that point, the spray bars on top, they're individually controlled,
Right.
which are fed from both sides, so it has an equal flow of water at up to 1800 psi.
Oh, wow.
Basically blow into the derocker and separate the material, because material in your sluice box builds up and then you don't catch anything in the sluice box.
Gotcha.
Organics inside the trommel, if they're not broke up, just become a ball and captures all the gold or the gemstones you're trying to get. The difference that Explorer has in our environment over a land-based unit is a land-based unit uses X number of gallons of diesel fuel per day because they have X number of pieces of equipment.
Okay.
Our operation is, you can run the whole operation on about 42 to 62 gallons per hour of fuel.
Okay.
And
before
that's
having to refuel.
right, and
Okay.
that's figured on 300 yards of material per hour. So if you took our unit at 300 yards an hour, you're going to be going through between 42 and 64 gallons of fuel. That same 300 yards of material used on land,
Right.
you're going to be in the neighborhood of 180 to what, 300, Connor?
Yeah.
Because a D10 cat takes roughly 26 gallons an hour.
Okay.
So you have a dozer to move the topsoil, the overburden. You have your Traco, which picks the material up and loads it into the dump truck, which hauls it back to the plant, which they dump and then pick up again with another Traco, and then feed the plant. And the plant needs water and power.
Right, right.
So when you figure all this out, you do all your dynamics, the carbon footprint you're making on land is a lot higher than the carbon footprint we're making, and that's where the environment comes in.
Gotcha. So another thing to make sure that we understand, this is much more efficient than the other aspect of how you can go about this.
Correct. If you're using the XT-10 in a small mining site, you're going to have, of course, your 2 pumps running. You have to have a pump for the dredge. You have to have a pump for the grizzly, or you have to have a pump for the grizzly and a pump for the trommel itself.
Right.
Because the trommel works on the XT-10 works on a 3-inch water feed.
Okay.
Where the grizzly works on a 4-inch water feed.
Oh, okay.
My dredge is going to depend on the size dredge I'm using. The XT-10 is automatically set up, if you buy the dredging package that goes with it, for 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch.
Okay. So we have packages that we can actually get. That's something that the accessories that come along with the XT-10 model as it's made.
Correct.
So that's something that we can, look into for all those other different aspects. So here again, looking at the XT-10 trommel and how it has been more efficient and how it can be efficient, where it can be used and so forth. So thank you, Connor.
Thanks
for your time. Thank you, William.
Thanks, Dan.
So we will talk again soon.